We are recording.
Voltron Network.
Speak.
Is that your greeting to the many 2 or 3 listeners?
Like, is that it, Eddie?
That's it. That's all they getting. That's all they getting.
Go on, Silent. Do an intro.
Welcome everybody to a brand new episode of Talking at the Movies. It's your boy Salim here, alongside with Eddie, who's sleeping, and that's why I've mentioned his name because he can't mention it himself. And
It's Mo.
there you go.
Beautiful, Salim.
There you go. Thank you very much.
Very poetic.
Proud of
Salim, you want to start?
that. So what? You know what? I've been watching stuff, but I don't know what I've been watching.
It turns into a blur, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I'll explain, right? So this is a show that Mo probably knows. It's about it's on a TV news show on Netflix about this Indian girl who goes like at high school about her life.
Oh yeah, I know. I haven't seen it. I've seen the trailer.
Right, whatever that show's called.
Can't be that memorable. You don't remember the name.
Well, no. It's a good show. It's just the reason why is I came in like a few episodes in. So like my nephew's been watching it, and I've just been watching it here and there with him. So I haven't been watching it properly.
Never have I ever.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I've seen the posters for that.
Yeah, it's actually not bad. It's like one of those mediocre shows, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, you know. And what else have I been watching?
Would you recommend it for like? Is it like mindless entertainment? You could stick it on for 20 minutes and.
I would recommend it.
Yeah.
To Asian people.
Is that a good or bad thing?
No, it's
Quality is quality regardless, man. Come on.
No, I know what he means though, because I guess Indian people or brown people in general could probably relate to it better.
But isn't that good for people who can't? Because then they get an idea, they get a view into something that they don't usually experience, and it opens their mind, broadens, and they no longer racist magically.
no.
Well, I mean, if you expect people not to be racist from watching a TV show, we would have no racist people, right? Because you imagine any TV show you've ever watched, they've had that "Don't be racist" episode.
Yeah.
It just like, you know, see, I can't say to you, Eddie, watch that show, watch it. But I could say to Mo, watch that show. I can't explain exactly what my thought process is behind that, but I know that Mo will probably enjoy it more because he's Asian.
I might check it out.
Yeah. I'm still watching Next Gen, which I'm enjoying thoroughly still.
Have you got to season 3 yet?
Season 3 now. I'm still on season 2.
Right, okay.
Star Trek.
I've been watching. I saw the whole of season 2 that dropped last week of You're Dead to Me.
You're Dead to Me. Oh, that show. Okay, yeah. Any good?
Yeah, You're Dead to Me is, well, it's a good show, right?
Yeah.
But you could see now it's just falling apart. So the first season was really good.
Well, sure.
You're Dead to Me. First season was really good, but second season just came out last week, and it's all right. And you can now see what they're doing is they're just stitching the story together in a loose way. It's like first season was, solid, good. What are you doing with that?
I kept thinking you had a lightsaber or something behind you. It's only when you got up I realised it's Hoover.
And I saw a good film the other day with my nephew called The Half of It. It's on Netflix. Actually, probably might be one of the best films I've seen this year. I've seen a few films, but it might actually be the best one. Just about this Oriental girl in a small town in the US, and she basically does everyone's homework for them.
Oh, I saw the trailer for this.
Yeah, she does. Actually, came out this year. So she does everyone's homework, she charges them. Yeah. Really, really intelligent girl. Everybody is cool with her until she meets this guy who says that I need you to write a love letter for me. And she starts writing these love letters to this person, this girl, who then obviously she's becoming more and more interested in because of her responses and her replies. And it's actually very, very good. Strongly, highly recommend it.
I was going to say, I didn't bother adding this trailer to like the trailer list because I thought neither of you two would be interested at all.
Oh, what this
Yeah,
one I'm
yeah,
talking about?
yeah.
I like little romantic movies. I watch, Fault in Your Stars and all of that stuff. I enjoy those when they're good.
Yeah. Very, very good film.
I mean,
So
the trailer didn't make it look good, but if you're saying it's good, I'm like,
I'll give it. I just like it. Just like that warm sort of fuzzy, feel good.
Yeah.
I'll give it a 4 stars.
Wow.
Yeah.
4.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it that much. I even said to my nephew, I really like this film. Yeah. They're like, maybe it's because love is in the air. Yes. Yeah. So anyway, that's what I've been watching. Eddie?
Besides Community and Always Sunny and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which are just background rerun shows, the only new thing I've been watching is Upload. Remember that Amazon show?
Oh, I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, we watched the trailer. I'm sure we watched the trailer as one of our
I cannot remember.
on our list. About the guy who dies, or he has the option as he's dying to either for them to try and save him or have a natural death, or to be uploaded onto a server, his consciousness, because that's an ability now. If you're rich and you have money, you can be uploaded and go to what they call heaven, but it's more like this digital retirement home.
Right.
And he chooses, he gets forced into a pressure to get uploaded. And there's a whole mystery as to whether he died of natural causes or whether he was knocked. Someone did it to him on purpose or blah, blah, blah. But it's actually a terrifying look at what could be in the future.
Yeah.
Because, what happens?
It's not a new film, is it?
It's a show. It's on Amazon.
Yeah. I've got it here.
So it's got an 86% rating on Rotten Tomatoes and an 88% audience score.
Yeah, I'm about halfway through it. It is good. It's really engaging, and it is like a terrifying. It's a comedy-ish. Yeah. It's kind of serious moments, but it is lighthearted. But it is a kind of a creepy look into what your future could be, because the family, his girlfriend that he's with, his fiance, who he doesn't really like, but she's from a rich family. And she's in love with him crazy. So she's the one that really pressures him to get uploaded. We will be together forever and she'll pay for everything. But the thing is, once he's there, he's kind of under her control. Because you can still talk to people. Because once you kind of have a video call, because it's digital on the other side, you can still kind of conversate that way. But you can't really, she can control what he does, what he wears. Anything you want to do, it costs money. Because because the companies that create this digital retirement home, they still have to get paid somehow. So it kind of has this fucked up.
Okay, so this is good, right? Because I think now you're slowly coming to your senses with everything you've said. You've always talked about you want to be a cyborg, you want like
different. I'm still
things, and you want to be uploaded in the cloud and stuff like that. Does this make you feel now that, you know what, that's something that I wouldn't want to do?
In the early days, it would be fine because, I'd be able to have the freedom. But once corporations get involved, because one of the big companies, the retirement home he's in, it's by a company they call Horizon, but it's like a twist on Verizon, the cable thing they have in America. And it's like unlimited data, so you can do what you want and blah, blah, blah. And it's like you inherit data from, like, your family has data. So if you have unlimited data as your family, it's like this thing everyone's proud of. And if you don't have money, then you go to this like horrible. I don't want to get too much.
All right, okay.
It's actually
all right. Okay.
Upload. Check it out. It's actually
good. Did you finish watching Hollywood?
Once you told me that they kind of diverged from real life, I just lost interest.
The whole show diverted from real life. It's not like once it diverts.
Well, what I was watching, it was still pretty accurate to...
No, it wasn't. That wasn't accurate. From the moment that show starts, it's not accurate to real life. It's a fairy tale to begin with.
Yeah, but once that doesn't... real people and I'm getting to know them, and then once I know that it...
No, it doesn't take away from it. It's still a really good show.
I can't believe you started it and now you stopped.
He does that all the time.
Because I want to know the real story. I don't want no make-believe story.
You are your own critic. You are your own reviewer. You review the show. Don't be influenced by what Mo or me say.
I want real life. I don't want fake. Once I found out it was fake.
Hold on, what? you needed someone to tell you that the story they were telling wasn't real.
Because I didn't know that at first. I thought it was just literally they were taking like these stories of these people that are around at a similar time because they were using real names, Rock Hudson.
And that they've got certain things about Rock Hudson that are true, but the fact that he was never openly gay, that was always kept a secret. So still things like that, but this is like a fairy tale of what could have been.
Yeah, I don't want that. Only Tarantino can do that.
But it was like a really interesting like drama. It was like dark comedy. It was really funny. The characters were really good.
So Mo, you've seen it then, right?
Yeah. So after you recommended it, I think I watched it like just over like 3 nights or something.
And you enjoyed it?
I really liked it. Right? It was a really interesting kind of what if. I mean, there's lots of things in there that like don't reflect reality. You really wouldn't get like a black actress who was probably getting so much freedom. You wouldn't get that kind of movie made. You wouldn't get what happens in the last episode really happen at that point.
It's like, this is ridiculous. I was enjoying it,
but it's a feel good fairy tale.
I don't want that if it's fake. I don't want to be lied to.
Wait a minute. But you watch like all sorts of films and stuff. They're all like make-believe stories.
Yeah, but not when they start off from a foundation of reality. I don't like it. It's a blurs the line. You either make it completely fake with completely new, unmade up people, or it's real people and you stick to the facts. I don't want this in between shit. Oh, Tom's gone away. He's that disgusted by me not watching it. He decided that I ain't doing this no more.
Right. So while we're waiting for him, have you got any other stuff that you've been watching?
Oh, that was it.
Right. So I've taken one for the team here because I know how much Salem detests CW shows.
Where did you go?
Well, somebody just opened the door.
Why do you keep turning us off? Why don't you just leave us on?
Don't worry. Yeah, but it's my reaction. So what I do is I just blank myself out. That's fine. There's no issue there. You still got my recording.
Then we stop. We talk what happened to Salem. Has he been murdered? Did something happen? He's a ghost. Possessed the office.
That's what you wanted to see in it. I think you would just really enjoy. You would actually, if I was being murdered right now and somebody just came in and started stabbing me, you would just like sit there. Wouldn't you?
We wouldn't be able to do anything.
Exactly.
You wouldn't even call anyone. You wouldn't even call anyone.
Who can we call?
I mean...
And if she'll get killed, she don't want that. Yeah. So, Mo, CW.
Right. So, they had a premiere of Stargirl this week.
I've been meaning to watch that. Yeah, I have to watch that before. Yeah.
I wasn't going to watch it at all, but I saw a posting on one of the forums that I visit, and somebody gave it sort of like a little bit of praise, right? So I thought, you know what? There's a dearth of like new stuff. Let's check it out. I'm actually really surprised. It was not terrible. I did not feel like scratching my eyes out. I only like when I watched that Black Lightning or whatever it was, I lasted 22 minutes. I watched one episode of Batwoman and I've not been back. This, I'm like, I'm watching in next week now.
But they always start out half decent and then they just.
Well, the only two that have are The Flash and Legends of Tomorrow. I didn't like any of the others.
See, I like the Arrow when it started and that went down. I didn't really like Batwoman, but there was some things that were like, I didn't really. Yeah.
Obviously, there is a load of Batwoman stuff to talk about later, but I've got to say, it didn't seem to have like the connection to like the other shows, so it was free of that baggage, and it kind of seemed like fresh and But I guess there's plenty of time for it to like fall down and become rubbish. But I do find some of these CW shows, like that first season or two, can be quite entertaining.
So
why invest?
Huh?
Why invest when you know it's going to go downhill? Because it's
but if I enjoy watching like the first season or two, like The Flash went down, but it doesn't sour my enjoyment of like those first few seasons.
See, it makes me feel like I've wasted my time.
This is how I do CW now, right? When the season starts and it finishes, and if you say, "Oh my God, you got to check this shit out," I will watch it. All right. But I'm not going to tune in for the 1 or 2 seasons because, like Eddie said, Flash, Arrow, started off okay and then just kind of just like teared off somewhere. Yeah.
But I'm just reporting to you, like on that first episode, I thought it was pretty decent-ish.
Thank you for taking one for the team. Keep
Ish,
taking
pretty
it.
decent-ish.
No, actually, it was one of those like one of those pilot episodes where actually I was quite engaged, and because the episode was almost an hour long, but it didn't actually feel like an hour. I've got to say, I actually enjoyed it.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So another show that the first couple of episodes I haven't enjoyed, but I went back today, in fact, right before this podcast, and watched episode 3, and I think I've now fallen in love with it. It finally hit its strides. What We Do in the Shadows. It was so funny. It was like, this episode was vampires have a feud with a pack of werewolves.
Oh, they brought the werewolves into it.
Yeah, and the werewolves basically they have this pact where they're not allowed to like openly feud, and they have these rules that if they've got like a problem to solve, how they do it. And they kidnap this werewolf, right? So all his mates turn up on their house and start pissing all over their garden and stuff. It's so hilarious. Like the vampires are trying to find silver bullets, and when they find them, the woman goes, "We've only got 3 silver bullets," and he goes, "It's worse than that. We don't actually have a gun." It's
That's
so
weird.
funny.
You never got into the film, which was great.
I've never actually watched the film,
The film
so
was great. Like, I loved it.
yeah. But I've kept.
So I guess it was so weird seeing. I can't remember whether they had completely new characters or they just recast the characters from the film. But it was a bit weird of a.
Yeah, I think there was a lot to do in those first couple of episodes, and I've heard from lots of people that it's just a genuinely funny show. So I thought I owed it to myself to go back and try it again, and I'm so glad I did, because this episode was just so funny. I mean, like right at the end, they nominate one person from each side to have a fight, right, to basically sort out the issue, and the guy turns into this werewolf, and he's so big, and the vampire is like shitting himself. So they got to pick weapons, and the werewolf doesn't pick weapons. He goes, "I'm just going to use like my claws." The vampire is looking at all these swords and all these mental things, and then picks up a squeaky toy that looks like a bone, and basically throws a bone off the building. And the vampire's obviously the werewolf so transfixed with the fact that it's a bone, he jumps right off the building to his death.
Does this make you want to give the film another go then?
Possibly, yeah. It might be.
When did the film come out?
A couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's been out for a while now.
Taika Waititi, innit? It's one of his ones.
I think I was watching the film with Salim, I think, and he was the one who halfway through put it off.
Yeah, Salem gets in that mood where he's like, "Yeah, I'm not in the mood for this," and he drift away and start playing Street Fighter.
Well, yes, that's very true. I'll give you that one, Eddie.
Yeah. As for films, right, so last week's my classic Jackie Chan movie was Drunken Master 2.
Legend of Drunken Master.
Well, that's the Western subtitle.
Yeah.
Wait, did you watch it dubbed or?
So on this disc there is a dub track, so I did watch the dub track, but
Mo,
you can tell.
I don't know if it even is Drunken Master 2 because someone who split from Jackie made a Drunken Master 2. That's why there are other Drunken Master films that don't have Jackie Chan in because
no, this is Jackie Chan.
No, but there were other. Yeah. But I mean, the fact that I don't know if its original title was Drunken Master 2 because someone else beat him to the title. That's why Legend of Drunken Master was called Legend of Drunken Master.
No, it's only called the Legend of the Drunken Master in the West. In the Far East, it's still just called Drunken Master 2.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's the dub's a bit weird because on the very last scene isn't in the Western version, so it's all in Cantonese because they never made an English dub for it.
What happens in that scene?
So I can see why the likes of Weinstein took it out because it's quite horrible. So, right at the end of the film, he basically gets so drunk that in the final scene, you see him right at the end, but essentially he's got so drunk because he's been drinking industrial strength alcohol that he's now brain damaged. It's a bit of a shitty end, actually.
I think I might see that actually. Yeah, where he's all fucked up.
Wait, he probably is
proper brain damaged.
Damn.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a downer ending. So you can see why it was cut from the Western side. But I've got to say, apart from the last fight scene, it's not a great film. It's not a patch on the original Drunken Master. It's not a patch on like the police story films.
As an overall narrative, I can see. I can agree with that. Like the stuff in between.
Yeah.
Like the moments, those sort of action moments are so iconic in this, man. That
the final fight scene itself is really good with that guy with just like the mad stuff he's doing.
The kicks.
Well, you just touched upon now. Maybe like obviously Eddie said it earlier on about the other dude who was apparently directing it with Jackie.
Yeah.
And decided like I've had enough of this. I'm just going to go off to my own one. So if you're saying that if you feel that the story is a bit whack, it's probably a lot.
I wouldn't say the story's a bit whack.
I didn't mind it. I actually really enjoyed the story. I actually felt that it was more like a Bollywood story.
I mean, there are some funny. I think the beginning of it's quite good. I think it's like that middle bit that it just sags a little bit.
Yeah, but for me, there was always that problem that he was acting as a character because it was so long between this one and the original Drunken Master.
Yeah.
He was still playing a guy who was like a 19-year-old when he was blatantly in his late 30s, almost the same age as his dad.
Yeah,
and that's the weird thing. It doesn't even connect back to the first film, right? Because in the first film, his dad is like this grand master fighter who has his own dojo. In the second film, his dad is like a doctor.
Oh, and just what I was saying before about the split. It was actually a Drunken Master 3. It was Young Woo Ping, the guy who did like the choreography for Matrix and all of that.
Right, okay.
He split from Jackie and he made a number 3. Jackie beat him out for number 2.
Rightio.
Yeah,
so a bit of a disappointing one, but so now I'm looking at what the films I've got left, and they're like the ones from like the from the 70s, and I think from the later films it's his not so good ones now, right? So it's things like Thunderbolt. Actually, I've never seen Rumble in the Bronx. I've still got that to go through.
What's an American one? Don't watch that.
No, I'm going to watch it because I'm going to be watching all his films. But hopefully next week I will have in my hands the new release Blu-ray of Operation Condor.
Oh,
and I remember loving that film.
Yes. So
you already done Armor of God, though, haven't you?
No, I'm going to try and do that this week now because obviously if next week's is Operation Condor, then I can watch one after the other.
Yeah. Armor of God's first, then Condor.
Here's my question. So after watching Drunken Master, because I remember as kids, I used to pretend like my can of Coke was alcoholic. And I would drink that and start doing all those motions. Did you do that?
I did not, no. But did you do that in front of did you do that in front of like any of your like sisters? And did they like slap you up for it afterwards?
It was the thing we all did. After watching those sort of movies, it was like we were Drunken Masters. Really crap ones. We were still Drunken Masters.
Yeah. Loved it.
I went on a bit of a John Hughes kick as well over the weekend, and I did 3 of his films, like Weird Science, 16 Candles, and Pretty in Pink. Dudes, Weird Science is crazy as fuck. You have to completely suspend belief in everything, but it's still so good.
Mini-series on just burning through all these films that you haven't watched or haven't watched for a long time, where you could have just a whole separate series of shows.
I could still do it because I don't really go into in-depth discussions of these. But Weird Science, I would still go and watch it, man. If you guys haven't seen it for a while.
Did you ever watch the show?
You know what? I've started watching the show now after watching the film.
Wow.
Because the actual show seems to be fairly well reviewed on IMDb.
Salim, you have to look up Weird Science.
No. You know what, right?
Weird Science.
Yeah, I remember watching.
One of the hottest women ever to step foot on this planet.
Yes,
I'm in love with her.
Do you know who they've got in the TV series?
Who they got?
Vanessa Angel. Do you remember Vanessa Angel? So she was quite not a huge star in the 90s, but she popped up in a lot of TV. But her biggest movie, she was the female lead in Kingpin with Jeff Daniels and
yes.
She is absolutely beautiful.
She was stunning. I remember her. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So hence why I'll probably carry on watching like the TV show. But the actual movie itself, I'm really surprised. I can imagine some people will watch that today and think it's a completely rubbish film. But it's just so 80s through and through. It's just charming. Just absolutely love the kind of concept. I mean, I love the fact that
best movie ever.
and the fact that it all goes wrong as well, right? It's like it's not what they expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, highly recommend it. I did get some comments from one of our listeners on when I was tweeting it that just said the trailer just looks absolutely rubbish and they couldn't imagine anyone watching it.
We're in the wrong decade.
16 Candles, loved it. Been a long time since I watched it. By the end of it, I was like, this is actually still quite a good, sweet film.
This is one of the ones I probably need to rewatch. Or I only know little glimpses. It's the one where he's got like the boom box outside the window.
No, so that's not even a John Hughes film, from what I understand.
Really?
I always thought it was, but it's not. I'm gonna look up what that was. I've seen the poster for it, and it wasn't one of his films.
Huh, okay.
Yeah, but it's very much like one of his films. Molly Ringwald, man, you can kind of see why she was such a star in the 80s. I mean, she didn't do a huge amount of films, or she didn't do a lot of films that got that were very popular, but all her John Hughes ones were really good. And she's one of the few actresses. Well, apparently she also had a lot of this like Me Too stuff happening to her in the decided to leave the industry.
I'm wondering if I saw this film with you, Mo.
With me? No, I doubt you very much saw that film with me.
Okay.
And she's one of those actresses that can really rock that short haircut.
Yeah, I used to like with Molly.
Yeah.
She was nice.
Pretty in Pink, I didn't like so much. I mean, it was an okay film. I just found it really difficult to relate to the characters because she obviously plays this girl that's really poor and goes to like a really rich school and just feels like she just doesn't fit in. Where obviously like my school experience wasn't like that at all. You know, whether you were rich or poor or whatever, you never really saw it in school life. I guess you don't hear so much. But over there, it kind of just seemed to be like that was, well, here, like everyone's got to wear a school uniform, right? So you don't wear like flash clothes. People don't turn up in Porsches to school and all that sort of stuff.
It manifests itself in trainers. The kids you're in.
Yes. But you're not supposed to wear trainers to school either.
And then when you're poor, I remember as a poor kid, I remember that half the time you didn't even have the proper gear for PE. You had to have there was like that bucket of all the used T-shirts and shorts you had to dig into and put on. And
yeah, but here is a little bit different, right? Because you're actually going from people who were, I guess, not so well off to people who are mega rich, right? So you've got like James Spader turning up in like a suit and stuff to school. Oh my God, did James Spader look so young? And I forgot to mention Weird Science, one of Robert Downey Jr.'s early roles, and he looks so young. He must have barely been out of his teenage years.
Wow.
It's incredible. Okay, so if I get away from the John Hughes stuff, Rambo.
Were you like we could do a whole?
Oh yeah, you could do.
It's a whole thing you show this.
I watched Rambo for the first time.
You'd never seen Rambo, Salem.
Never seen Rambo. I've seen Rambo 3.
How did you let him go through life if you've never seen Rambo? I blame you.
Have you seen the original Rambo, Salem?
Yes, of course. We grew up with that film.
Right.
Yeah.
It
was on TV.
Yeah, I was never interested in watching it. And I was really surprised. It's not really the film I thought it was going to be.
It's weird. You had no problems with 16 Candles, but you've never seen the Rambo.
Like, what was going on in your childhood that you just skipped?
He was a pussy and that's where it was. He was
I was watching like the classics, mate. The classics.
Rambo is a classic.
I can see why it would be a classic, but I don't think I'll ever want to watch the first Rambo film again, right? It was a good film, don't get me wrong. I did enjoy it, but it's not what I was expecting John Rambo to be like some war zone, like just kicking ass. Whereas really he's just a grifter. Yeah?
When I heard the other day, I was literally zipping my tea and I got a message saying, I've seen Commando for the first time.
Oh yeah, that was good. That was really good.
My tea out. I could not believe.
It's crazy. There's a whole chunk of his childhood that's just completely missing.
Yeah. And I'm catching up. See, I've waited and I'm catching up on it now. Now that I've got like loads of time to do this stuff, I can do it.
See, like things such as Rambo. I think if we watched it now, we were like,
but Commando is still a really good film. I enjoyed that from start to end.
Imagine that as a 10-year-old. Imagine what the experience you would have had as a 10-year-old.
I would have to have a talk with your mum if she was letting you watch movies like that at 10.
I watched everything. Literally, I watched everything at 10. to Rambo. This was at a stage when Stallone was a serious filmmaker. He was still pretty early off of the first couple of Rockies. Remember the first? He got an Oscar for the first one, so he was still making serious movie. He hasn't become the action star which he later became.
So this is a bit of an odd one, right? I guess looking at it now in hindsight, it's not what I had imagined a Rambo movie to be, right? But the message in the film is really interesting, right? You basically essentially sending off these men to war, and when they come back, they are psychologically damaged, right? But society doesn't really care about that and doesn't want them in their face and wants them to be like hidden away.
Yeah.
But it's great because the way he handles himself, the way that the police officer who started the whole mess just won't accept the fact that Rambo will beat them, and he becomes obsessed in trying to beat him.
And I can't remember the actor's name, but the one of the police guys, I think the head one, he's one of those iconic actors from the 80s.
Yes, he does appear, yeah. So, enjoyable. Not entirely sure I'd want to watch it again. Now, Rambo 2, reading the synopsis of it, now sounds like it's more the film I'm expecting.
That's more of an action film. Yeah, he got into the groove of... crazy shit. It's the one where he's in Afghanistan as well, I think he goes.
Yes, I believe he basically, in the synopsis, he gets his freedom in exchange for going to Afghanistan. No, Afghanistan is number 3. Number 2, I think, is Vietnam. No, not Vietnam. Might be Cambodia or something. I think they go to get some prisoners out. Yeah.
Either of you. Did either of you used to watch the Rambo cartoon?
I vaguely remember it.
I can't. I think I might have seen an episode or two, but again, I'm like with Mo here. I can't remember it.
Inappropriate property to make a cartoon out of.
Yeah.
I don't know how they got away with that, but they did.
But they did it. Last Action Hero. I know we spoke about that on our last thing that we were talking on the bonus episode, but we never really got into it. Never seen this one either before, and I can see.
I gave you Last Action Hero.
But you gave me such a shitty copy that I never actually watched it.
What?
Quality control.
Wait, hold up. That copy, to what I remember, was good.
I think I remember your copy. Yeah, they were right.
I don't remember watching it. But if I did, I've obviously arranged it from my mind. So as far as I'm concerned, I've never seen Last Action Hero before.
We're sitting down and watching it together.
See, this is another one of those ones where it helps watching it when you're young because you would have been in the perspective of that boy. Because you don't like it now, do you?
I wouldn't say I didn't like it. I think the second half of the film is better. You know, when they come into reality rather than when they're in Hollywood. Yeah. But the feel to me was like they were trying to do like this big action movie, but they had like a kid in the lead role who was just not annoying, but he was just like annoying.
I didn't mind the kid, but when you're young,
watch it now.
I have watched it maybe a couple of months ago. Like it's one of those ones that I enjoy. I like actually because it takes me back. Because when you're young, you want to be that kid, living that crazy fantasy experience. We go into the screen and you just.
But it's a weird film because the films are 15. So like, if you're a kid, you're not going to the cinema to watch it. If you're a grown man going in to watch an action movie, it's all this kid running around.
Did it? Do you guys remember? Did it do well? Because I don't think it did.
No,
I don't think it did. No,
it did not do well.
No, it didn't.
This was like the beginning of the. I think there was like one more decent film after this. So there was True Lies, and then after True Lies, I think Arnie's like the film choices that he made weren't great.
Yeah, I think all of them old action stars in the mid 90s, mid to late 90s, all started to kind of just go down.
Yeah. And finally, Night of the Creeps. So I love the Monster Squad, and this is the other sort of like best-known movie that Fred Decker directed. This was like actually one of his first proper full feature films. It sounds like it's a proper 80s comedy horror B movie. So I'm not entirely sure whether you two would enjoy this, but I kind of loved it. And it's about essentially an alien organism escapes from a spaceship, comes to Earth, basically infects a human, starts killing humans, and as it basically kills a human, it leaves it and finds another host. And basically, you've got this cop who is Night of the Creeps.
Yeah, I'm looking at the poster now.
I've seen this.
So I've really seemed to have developed a taste for like these old comedy horror films. I just got today in the post on Blu-ray, Fright Night.
You know what? I actually want to see this now. It looks really bad, but I want to see it.
It is. It's not as good as Monster Squad, but I do like these types of films. And I was watching behind the feature stuff about like the making of it, and it's really the whole '80s was just a different world of making films. Like if you knew the right person, and got it with the right crowd, you could make a film.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true. Very true. All right.
And that is the very extensive list of the things that I have been watching. Well, actually, for TV, I just want to mention Angel. I actually got so into Angel this week. I think it was middle of season 3, and I know you've never seen it, Salim, and maybe during this lockdown, take time to watch it. But Eddie, do you remember the storyline where they have the fake prophecy of the father will kill the son?
Yeah, and doesn't it trigger something when it?
Yeah. And then basically Wesley believes that prophecy. And as I'm watching that, I'm like, oh my Lord, this show is absolutely... It literally went from being in the shadow of Buffy from that moment to... Because what I've been doing is I've been watching one Buffy, one Angel, one Buffy, one Angel. So the last couple of nights, all I've been doing is watching Angel because the story's just been so compelling.
Yeah, I do remember that point where it became... A certain maturity started to have that.
Yeah.
I still loved Buffy, but yeah, it did kind of go into this zone. I hated the kid to start with, but then suddenly the kid became an essential part of the story. And then
and I think what you're thinking of is season 4, right? And I remember when season 4 was on TV and you watched it one episode a week, it wasn't great. But I remember that 10 years ago when I did my last watch through, I binged season 4 in a couple of days because it's literally one long story. Every single episode continues the story, unlike previous seasons. And I think that was like the first time they'd ever done that on TV. But when you watch it like a couple of episodes in a sitting, it's a lot more enjoyable. So catch up on it, Simon. If you've never seen it, there's a classic show like to binge on.
Like I remember, I did watch Angel, but I came into it a little later on. So I went on. I skipped.
Oh, you weren't watching it. I was getting them from you. So you weren't watching the show that you were recording for me.
No, what I was doing is that I didn't start from the very beginning. I like skipped one of the seasons, and I started maybe on season 2.
How was I watching it? Because I was watching it, but I didn't have Sky, so I had to get them all from you.
I was getting them from Mo and then giving them to you.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I don't think you're getting them from me.
Yeah. You were like, mate, a lot of my library came from you. You were like, hey, man, I burnt this disc. Watch this. And I was just like...
Burning discs wouldn't have been around at Angel.
I was VHSs. I remember all the Buffys and Angels were on VHS.
All right, okay.
And I remember I used to record them, but I used to record them for Tama.
He must be.
So, Eddie, maybe like... I don't think you got Angel off me. Definitely not.
Until one day he goes to me, yeah, you don't need to record them anymore. I goes like, what, have you got cable now? He goes, no, I download the episode. And I was like, what? What do you mean you download the episode?
Salem? You have to download?
No, not Salem. I'm talking about Tama.
Oh.
Like Eddie was well surprised when he's like, you're dyslexic.
It's like you don't even know how to do that now. Right. So should we get into it?
Yeah.
Good.
Have you guys seen the trailer for TENET, the new one that dropped today?
I have. I preferred the mystery of the first one, but you do see a lot more. It's more of a head fuck in this trailer. Like it's like they explain some of it, but I'm still like, what the fuck?
I stayed away from it.
Yeah.
Inversion. Yeah. I don't know what that actually means though, right? Time's running backwards.
Exactly. They're investigating things that haven't happened yet.
Yeah.
But it's just so mad. It's so sad fuck. I can't deal with it.
But it just looks like I really want to watch that, right? I really, really want to watch it.
It looks fascinating.
Yeah. Have you changed your mind on Denzel Washington Jr.?
Oh, the guy. I'm trying to remember what you guys were saying, that he had such a good performance in Black Klansman that you're willing to give him a go. But in these trailers, I'm just not really. I'm gonna watch the film, so But yeah, it just doesn't leap out to me, this leading man.
Well, I don't forget, like Black Klansman was a comedy as well. So when somebody's playing a role in a comedy, it's very different to the style of film that, obviously TENET is a very, very different style. So if you don't like him in the trailer, I don't think you will like him in the movie.
So we'll see. I'm going to watch it anyway. It does look damn interesting. It's just so mad, the world. But I was also hearing that in order for this to come out in the cinemas, 80% of cinemas need to be open in order for this to get its release.
Yeah, so that is the tricky part, really, isn't it? Because like you could have cinemas open in America, but it just wouldn't be good enough, right? You have to have a worldwide take to make money on these things.
Yeah. So, but what's Nolan's still adamant, headstrong that this is going to be a theatrical release, but they haven't really. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they've got 2 months, right? So the world could drastically change in that period. That's still a long time.
Yeah, we could have a second wave.
Exactly.
Right, okay, so everyone excited. Would if this basically came out here and it went to the cinema, would you guys go out and see it?
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I'll probably go out like on a Wednesday morning or something, take a day off.
You guys check out the trailer for Charlize Theron's movie.
Nope. What's that?
Old Guard.
Nope. Any good?
It's gonna be a Netflix joint. It's an action.
Oh wait, I did. I started to watch that, and then I just gave up.
The trailer.
Yeah, like this guy always got black hair, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like it just. I've seen it. It just didn't.
It doesn't. It's an interesting concept, but the trailer doesn't really grip you. I wasn't that impressed. It's not like an Extraction level sort of excitement, but it's an interesting trailer because she plays a member of this military unit. I think there's only like 5 or 6 of them. And they get sent off on missions. You kind of think, oh, you know, it's sort of military thing. But it turns out that they've been doing this for centuries and that they're immortal. Like, they can be killed, but they always come back to life.
Oh, interesting.
Based on the comic book, probably from Image Comics. But it's an interesting concept that they're these sort of immortal soldiers that have been doing this shit since the Crusades. So
right.
That alone makes me think, this could be...
So it's not just a straightforward, boring action flick. There is actually like a little bit something to differentiate it.
Yeah, a little bit of yeah. And you see different time zones. You see them in the ancient times and.
Okay, that makes it sound a lot more interesting.
Yeah. So the Old Guard, I'm gonna give that a look when it comes up.
Cool. Right. Should we get into the news then?
Let's do it.
Right, folks, it's happening. We all knew that this was going to happen. We knew it from the moment we saw that on Star Trek Discovery, they spend all that money building the Enterprise.
Yeah. Batman vs. fucking Justice League.
What?
How can you talk Star Trek? It's happening.
Have you seen the list, right?
Who gives a shit? Justice League Snydercut is coming out.
Who gives a shit about the Snyder Cut?
4 hours.
Listen, Snyder fans,
listen,
Snyder fanboys, let me break it down for you, right? It's going to be shit. There was supposed to be a part 2 and a 3. They haven't filmed that. If they fucking film's going to end on a cliffhanger, they've only got a limited amount of shit. You're all wanking yourselves, thinking this is going to be a great movie. It's going to be as bad as what we've already got.
All right, okay.
10% better than what we got.
Right, it might be 10% better, but what we got was so bad that 10%...
It's not going to be 5 stars, but it's...
Okay, so firstly, isn't it supposed to be like 4 hours, but as a show, so it's not a movie?
Split in 2. So it's 2 hour, part 1, part 2.
And secondly, I agree with Mo here. I just think to myself that the more research I've done on this, I'm like thinking to myself, wait a minute, like... Yeah, I know there's some extra scenes that are supposed to be filmed.
They've got in 20 million.
The money that they've
finish it up.
No. So they're getting actors back to record additional dialogue.
And the effects are going to be...
the effects, but they're not filming actual new scenes.
All right, okay. But like, I mean, that's not enough.
So hold on. But there'll probably be footage that was, I'd imagine, cut, right? That they.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. What Zack Snyder shot, because he did Man of Steel commentary watch along with people on Zoom.
Yeah, I saw that.
There he was saying that what he shot, only a third. I think he even said less, but I reckon only a third of what he shot was in the Justice League movie. The rest of it was all cut, and Joss Whedon stuff was additional shot. So he's like 2/3 of his movie wasn't shown. So it's a completely different narrative for a lot of the characters. Because Darkseid's in this as well, which wasn't in the original one.
Just imagine, right? Basically, they'll take all the comedy out, and it all be like, "My name."
Comedy was bad when Joss Whedon's comedy did not fit.
Listen, that film, even the one that came out, was terrible, right? But essentially, what's going to happen? It's all just going to be full with like, I'm Batman. I must brood. I must be miserable. I must go out and just kill
Give me the
100
misery,
people.
Give me the darkness. There's gonna be more action scenes, more Wonder Woman. We're gonna get to see Green Lantern.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, sure, I'm interested, but I'm not as excited about it as everyone else is. Like, as you were like.
That people seem to think the Snyder Cut is going to be some magic
Yeah,
bullet that makes this film better. It's not. Right. It might be better than what we got. But
that's good enough. That's all I want.
Okay, I was the other day, right? When I heard this, I was happy, and then I went to pray, and it was almost as if at that point God put something in my head, which was Batman versus Superman, and then it sort of fell apart from there. And the more research I started doing on it, and I thought to myself, you know what? This isn't going to be as good as what everybody else is saying it is, or everyone's excited about it. It's not.
No.
How can it be?
No.
As long as it's better than the Justice League that we got. That's all I care about. More Wonder Woman, more Batman. I'm fine. But it's not going to happen until 2021, though, so probably not really going to
yeah, but they obviously got a lot of work to do. Plus, at the moment, it's difficult to do anything, right? This might be easier because I guess it's all post-work, so you can do it all remotely. But it's just going to be slow.
I bet they're not even doing it remotely. America's pretty much opened up everything now, so...
is it?
They're almost there. I think there's only 1 or 2 states. They're just letting people go back now. As long as you're not isolated in your little booth, then you're fine.
Give it a couple of weeks. I'm sure that will all rapidly change. But I'm totally with Silent on this. This does not excite me. It's going to be more of a curiosity, right? I'll absolutely watch it because I'll be very curious.
Yes.
But it's not like they're saying we're going to make a Captain Pike show on Star Trek, right? That's what gets me excited. The fact that I'm just going to see a slightly less shittier version of a shit film is nothing to celebrate.
There's a story that you were excited about that was finally happening.
The fact that they have announced a Captain Pike Star Trek series called Strange New Worlds. We knew this was going to happen because they spent all that money building those Enterprise sets.
This is good news.
See?
This gets me excited. Are you not more excited about this than... Are you more excited about Justice League, Eddie? Are you kidding me?
It's more of a car wreck. I want to see the crash. It's like...
Why would you want to waste 4 hours of your life? Look forward to wasting 4 hours of your life.
This is good, right? Because this is recorded. So in 2021, when you get to see it, we're also going to show you this video again.
Dude, at no point have I said it's going to be amazing. No point that I say it's going to be a 5-star film. I'm just the curiosity of the wreck that we've anticipated for nearly 2 years now. I just finally get to watch it. That's all I care about.
No, I understand that. I get it. Like completely, I'm intrigued, you know. But yeah,
what I really look forward to is what I really enjoyed about Justice League was Uz's commentary track that he did.
Yes,
that was so funny. That's what it was so funny because it was almost like there's an episode of The Simpsons where Kevin Costner is doing like a commentary track for Waterworld. What was that film? Waterworld. And it literally is the director going like, "Oh my God, what was I thinking when I did it?" Uz's track really reminded me of that.
Wow. So when's this happening then? This start?
So obviously with a lot of things at the moment, it's just been announced, so they don't think it will happen. Production probably won't start now till next year, but obviously all the pre-production work can start. They've already got a cast. They can work on scripts. They've already got sets because they spent all that money. You know, this was a no-brainer that was going to happen. The original cast are returning, so you've got Anson Mount as Pike. You've got the guy who plays Spock, and you've got Rebecca Romaine returning as number 1.
Ah.
And apparently this is quite potentially going to be more of an episodic thing. So it literally will be like go to a new world, have a new adventure. So more like a traditional Trek type show.
It's like Mandalorian.
But better. Actually interesting. CW. So I knew a little while ago we spoke about the fact that they were going to do a Lost Boys show. They filmed 2 pilots, and yet again, they basically said, we're turning this down. So it looks like this is completely dead. Yay!
Is this because the pilots were so bad, or is this more to do with them wanting to save a bit of money with what's happening in the world?
Well, I mean, they picked up 4 other shows. So last week, we talked about Kung Fu.
Yeah.
I would put it down at because they go, the door's not closed. They go, we are happy to probably revisit this at a later stage. I think the guy who's actually trying to get this made, it's his passion project, from what I understand. But I think this is one of those shows that should not happen, because I don't want it to taint that original film. Because I don't know if you've ever seen the sequels. I haven't, but I hear they are really, really, really bad.
Yes. Yeah, I'm okay with this. Yeah, I'm okay with this. Let it rest.
Let it rest, indeed. Dennis Villeneuve. I found this really interesting, right? He spent a year perfecting the design of the sandworm for Dune. And the reason I found this really interesting is the only thing I remember about the original film is the sandworm.
That's weird for me to remember. Yeah, it's
it was just the weirdest thing, isn't it? Like these massive worms that people were riding and they would come out of the sand and stuff.
Yeah, sandworms. Yeah, that's just curious. I guess more to do with how it's not just the design of it, but how they move as well. It can be something that can look pretty stupid if it's not done well. The miniseries ones weren't too bad, but yeah, it always looks a bit iffy. So
yeah, but I guess, like I said, it's one of those iconic things that people always remember. So I guess if you can get those to look right, at least you can get people to buy in. And if they don't look right, you probably shatter that whole illusion of the film.
Sure, yeah. Can't wait for this. Can't
Yeah.
wait.
And considering with all the woes that are happening in the world, another big movie that was supposed to come out theatrically is now coming out on Apple TV. Really weird place for this to go, because it's quite a niche streaming platform. But Tom Hanks' World War II drama Greyhound.
Man, they're betting on Tom Hanks. They're betting on him being the draw that they want to get people in. But
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I think they could bet on whoever, man. Like, I just don't see that streaming service moving.
So the weird thing about that streaming service is, every time you buy an iPhone or an iPad, you get a year's free. But what they're still finding is people still aren't watching it, even though they've got like such a huge user base.
Yeah, there's nothing on it, really. It's hardly anything there. They need to buy a studio. They need to buy some pre-existing properties. Like, what's happened with MGM and that? That hasn't been
so MGM will probably be the one studio that gets sold in the not too distant future.
Yeah, so they got to really go in them. They got the money, so come on, man, bite the bullet and buy that shit.
Yeah. We watched a trailer for this a couple of months ago. It looked like a fairly interesting
trailer. Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah. And it's Tom Hanks, right? So even like his worst film is mildly entertaining. A couple of pieces of mini news, right? So these are I think a few things you added. The Silence of the Lambs sequel series. Clarice gets picked up and gets a mid. Is it what?
Clarice.
Oh, Clarice.
Yeah.
Gets picked up at CBS and will get a mid-season debut.
Usually wouldn't be that excited, but they did such a great job with Hannibal. And that was on network TV. That was on NBC, but that was still an amazing show. I love that show. Broke my heart when it ended.
But that, I think that stands in my possibly top 5. Yeah.
Good show.
Really good show. Really good.
Mo, network television, but they still managed to make it graphic. It was still bloody. It still had everything that Silence of the Lamb needs to be a great show.
You know what? I should watch it because I haven't seen the Silence of the Lamb movie, so that's another one on my list of films to watch in the coming weeks.
Well, on the flip side to it, although we're saying Jesus, at least he gets to experience them.
There you go. There you go.
We're done with it.
Yeah, exactly.
He gets to see, and when we watched it, we were just like, we were young. We were just like, mate, anything on screen we used to like. I remember us talking about how we used to love American Ninja, right? So, now.
Yeah, and I now get to watch it in high def, surround sound, and to really enjoy it.
Okay, if you're gonna watch it, Mo, watch the Hannibal show first.
Watch Hannibal show first.
Yeah, because Silence of the Lambs chronologically takes place after.
Yeah, I don't like this whole chronological business. I like to watch it in the order the things came out in.
But you're not getting the full breadth of the story. This is what I'm telling you.
No.
Someone
But
who's
it's then like saying if you want to watch Star Trek, you should watch Star Trek Discovery first, Enterprise first, because it happens before everything else. I don't like that stuff. I like to watch it as it came out. Like you get this, you get.
Yeah, but you didn't do that with Infernal Affairs, did you? You watched The Departed first.
But that's not a sequel. That's a remake.
Come on.
It's not continuing the story. It's telling you the same story.
I would watch it in the way that Eddie said, but at the same time,
two of us.
Yeah.
You want to get the story of the characters. This is the best way to watch it. Trust me.
Yeah, but surely like everyone had seen the film before watching the show.
No, because you're talking about a generation ago that film came out. Quite a while now, like mid-90s.
Earliest to 90s. I think it was in 93.
Then a lot of people then went off to watch Hannibal. Like, you know, even some people just like revisited that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, something I've got to rewatch.
The thing is, the sequels of don't bother with the sequels of Silence of the Lambs. You don't really need to bother with that. And some of those sequels are actually stories which are in the Hannibal show, so you don't really need to bother with those.
Yeah.
Just retell
So the Hannibal show, right, was also done by Brian Fuller.
Yeah.
Who's obviously done a lot of quirky shows on TV. He was actually involved in Star Trek Voyager, and he actually was the showrunner for the first season of Discovery, but departed after a couple of episodes because of creative differences. So it would been great to consider what Discovery could have been had he stayed on. So once I've now suddenly realised that, I'm now very interested in watching Hannibal.
He has very good quality control. Like you can see that he's someone who wants something done a particular way. He's not willing to cut corners. That's probably why he left Discovery.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. I think it was when we say because you can kind of see once he left where the storylines become a bit mishmashed and they didn't know how to end it. Yeah. Beverly Hills Cops 4 will be heading to Netflix.
Yeah, and it's going to be directed by the two. I want to say no-name directors, but they've got a hit on their hands. They did the new Bad Boys film that I think Salem liked. Did you watch it, Salem?
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, I thought you watched it, but yeah, I think he did well. People seem to like it.
Oh, it's done very, very well. I think there's talk of the fourth one now, isn't there?
Well, yeah, because of the success of the third.
Yeah, so they're doing it.
Who would have thought that?
I know.
Well, hold on. So success and good are two different things, right? It might have done well, but it doesn't make it a good film.
Mate, that film has done so well that that may be the film of the year. That might get an Oscar.
Come on,
There's hardly anything coming. Could you imagine if this lockdown still continues and the films that will be left for the Oscars?
Will Smith for Best Actor.
Forget Bloodshot did come out for a bit. But
I don't think they hand out Oscars for shit films, though, do they?
Yeah, that's true. But I think even I haven't heard any garbage reviews for it. I think people mostly enjoyed it.
I should go and watch this actually because I've got it.
Those two guys were like, you watched their interviews. They were like seriously passionate for.
They are, but they look like just mishmash. They look like
passionate for the money.
The definition of straight to video directors.
So, Coming to America apparently has already been filmed. Coming to America 2. Do neither of you have watched that film he did on Netflix already?
Dolomite, not yet.
Dolomite. Watch that because that is old Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy is back.
Mm-hmm. But is he too old to play Axel Foley though?
He does not look old.
Eddie, he
really does not.
Huh? Shut up.
Like, not like look like you. He looks young as you. You're old now.
And he's got like 11 kids.
Jesus, come on.
So that's why he's got to keep making movies.
Damn. But Axel Foley, man, he was such a youthful, the energy he had.
Yeah, but do you remember number 3?
No, he's not really.
No, I think he's only chubby. He put weight on for Dolomite.
Okay.
I don't think he's actually chubby.
You make a good point though. Like,
physical
can he still be
physical
character? Can he still play that?
Yeah.
Watch Dolomite because there's a lot of Eddie Murphy in that. if you guys haven't watched it and you're looking for a film to watch, I highly recommend it.
Okay.
We're never gonna remake The Golden Child.
Oh,
That was a terrible film. though.
Exactly. That's why it needs to be remade.
Should I give you a really interesting fact about The Golden Child?
Yeah.
Go on.
So at Paramount, Eddie Murphy was like the golden boy at that period, right? He'd done like 48 Hours, Trading Places, Beverly Hills Cop. He was on like basically on the roll. Paramount were making a movie called Star Trek 4. Basically, they wanted Eddie Murphy to be in it. The director, Leonard Nimoy, wanted Eddie Murphy to be in it. Eddie Murphy was a huge Star Trek fan, and he wanted to be in it, but decided to go and make The Golden Child instead.
Eddie Murphy in a Star Trek movie. That would be hilarious.
Oh my god. That would have ruined Star Trek.
That would be hilarious.
But it could have been great.
No.
At that time, Eddie Murphy wasn't an actor. He was just doing his comedy. He was the same in everything. So you can imagine that loud, joke-dropping character in the Star Trek universe.
Yeah, because he was going to be... So if you remember Star Trek 4, there's the character of the female scientist who basically looks after the whale. So he was going to be that character.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, a bit of trivia there for you.
By the way, Golden Child is a good movie.
No, it's a terrible film. A terrible movie.
It's fun when you're young, but
No. But all right, okay. Yeah, all right, I'll agree. Yeah, it's a shit movie, but I think it could be a really good remake.
Yes, that's what I mean. Yes.
I think it would be really.
I wouldn't care if they remade that because I don't actually like the original. Beverly Hills Cop 3 was terrible though, right? I know 2 was a bit of a decline, but 3 was really bad from what I remember.
I don't even remember 3.
Yeah, it's terrible. The only thing I remember from number 3 is, do you remember he's at like Disneyland or something and he's got to climb the Ferris wheel and George Lucas is like standing in the queue to go on that ride.
God.
And lastly, potentially some huge news for the CW Batwoman TV show. So Ruby Rose has issued a statement saying that she is leading.
Have you got any tabs open, Mo, with Flash or anything playing? Because you
no, I think that might well be just my laptop having been on for like a week.
You tell me this every time we're on, and you never seem to.
I know. The last couple of times I've rebooted it before, like we've done it. Well, had no problem. So let me speed through this. So Ruby Rose essentially issued a statement saying, with mutual decision, she's leaving the show. But from what I'm hearing over the last couple of days, it may not have been very mutual.
Yeah, I don't really blame her. Like, she didn't like the hours. She's a
TV actress, right? You don't get into that role because you don't like the hours.
She wasn't coming from a TV actress world, though, was she? She was coming from cameo appearances on John Wick and Orange is the New Black, that sort of thing. Like higher level stuff. And then she makes this show. It's a shit show. Ratings are terrible. The reviews are terrible. And she has to do all these long ass hours in Canada. I guess she's just like, what the fuck am I doing this, man? I was a fashion model. Why don't I go back to my life was good before this? What the fuck?
But so I've kind of like things that I've been seeing and hearing seem to indicate that the studio weren't happy with her either.
Yeah, apparently she was complaining a lot on set.
Yeah,
the hours, and that caused a lot of friction.
Yeah,
a lot of problems.
So what they're going to do now is they're going to recast the role. So in season 1, you've had Ruby Rose playing Batwoman. I'm assuming season 1 has ended on a cliffhanger. So season 2 now starts, and you've got a completely different actress playing the role.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of jarring, but.
Well, wait, hold up. Is anybody even watching this show? So, like, does anyone even care?
Well, I wonder if they are doing this to kind of generate interest in the next season.
See, if I was really into a show, right, and then they basically casted somebody else for season 2, that would annoy me. But if I don't give a damn, like if I'm like falling into season 2, oh, this person's in season 1, she's in season 2 now, whatever, that wouldn't bother me.
Go back to when we originally heard that Batwoman was going to happen as a show, and that we heard that they were going to look for an LGBTQ actress to play it. So now we're back in that place now. Are they going to stick to that? Are they going to try to find another lesbian actress? Or are they just going to be like, oh, fuck it, it's too much hassle?
I think I would have thought they're just going to say, oh, it doesn't matter. Let's like whoever's set for the role, let's just like bring somebody in. I don't think that. I think that was a selling point, and that selling point didn't do too well. So from a marketing point, it was like, let's bring on somebody, you know.
In this case, it might have hindered the show because she wasn't really a good actress, but she was kind of a name to a degree. So I don't know.
But hopefully they've now learned a lesson. If your show is terrible, people aren't going to tune in just because of the name.
Yeah, definitely.
The only and at the same time, it could work to it's bringing somebody on. It could be a good thing as well. Do you remember what was it? It was season 2 of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when the mother was changed.
Yeah.
She was better.
Actually, no. I think the original actress was better because she had more personality. She had more charisma. Yes.
But I preferred the other one, the one that came later on.
Yeah, because she was light skinned and you're racist. You know what you're
you do get little bits like that. I think like one of the biggest ones that's ever happened is Bewitched. They changed Darren. I don't know if you used to watch that show. Yeah,
I remember that.
And then in Roseanne, they changed the Becky for one season and then changed her back the following season.
Yeah, that's a real weird one, man. What happened there?
They had both of them for the comeback show. They
did. Yeah.
Great.
Okay. Is there anything else?
Folks? Right. So that we are done with the news.
We are done. No news. No letters.
Folks, obviously make sure you check out our bonus episodes that we're doing at the moment. So what's the current one that we just done, Eddie?
The one that we just done was Infernal Affairs versus The Departed. Enjoyed very much watching
2 classic films.
2 good films, 2 great films.
What are we doing next, Eddie?
Next we're going to be doing Cape Fear, the 1960s version and the 1990s version.
I need to get my ass in gear and watch those now.
Yeah, I was going to watch them early in the week, but my sleep's been so crazy that I just haven't been able to plant myself. But yeah, I'm going to do that today. I think one of them was on either Netflix or Amazon, the De Niro one, so that's...
Okay.
But yeah, look forward to that. And guys, check out Vulture Network. If you listen to this and you want to see our beautiful faces, then check us out on YouTube. We actually come up now on the algorithms when you put in Vulture Network now.
Oh, right. Oh, brilliant.
Starting to push us up. It just showed you the shittiness of how the algorithms work on YouTube, man.
You know what? I saw a guy the other day. It was his first video, right? His first video, and he was reviewing Fright Night. But he got this. He'd create this beautiful set like he was in a video store.
Yeah.
His first video hit 202,000 views.
Fright Night,
the 80s classic.
There's just no logic to YouTube. There's no logic. Have you heard about the Joe Rogan stuff?
Yes.
It's got bought by Spotify.
Let's talk about this afterwards because just us talking about it could make YouTube just push us down in the freaking algorithm. So yeah, check out Vulture Network. You can check out the DC versus Marvel podcast with myself and Uz, and Wrestling Ruckus podcast is back. Our 61st episode has just popped up on there, and we were just talking about all the stuff that's been happening lately and that. So yeah, guys, from myself, Eddie Reese,
and Wes Harlem,
and from Mo. Don't
forget, go to iTunes, 5 stars, reviews, all of that, guys. We shall see you next week. Later.